Hello and welcome to this week's golf betting preview as we take a look at the Travellers Championship. Last week we hit the crossbar with a near miss as Tyrrell Hatton finished in a tie for third place, the 50-1 shot giving us a healthy return in the each way market. But now we turn attention to TPC River Highlands this week, which attracts the world's top 5 players once again in a stellar field. The 6,841 yard par 70 is a strong all-round test where both big and shorter hitters have prevailed in recent years. Let's take a look at the favourites in the betting, and world number 1 Rory McIlroy is once again in there at 12-1, but the Northern Irishman has looked a long way from his best over the first 2 weeks back, and he can be left alone this week. Harder to dismiss, Justin Thomas at a similar price. He has looked as if he is nearing peak form over the last 2 weeks with a strong finish at Harbour Town. But he does have a patchy course record and he's reluctantly left out this week. Instead, my headline selection is the one and only Bubba Watson at 33-1. The enigmatic left-hander has an outstanding course record, and who would bet against him this week as he goes for a 4th Travellers Championship title? Watson has 3 victories on his resume already, most recently winning in 2018. He was also second in 2012 and third 12 months later. Watson absolutely adores this track where he can power his way on the course and use his wedge game to strong effect, and he putts so well at this course. 7th place at the Charles Schwab Challenge a couple of weeks ago was a really strong indicator and hint that Watson was close to peaking. Last week at an unsuitable course he closed with a round of 65, and everything looks in Watson's favour to produce a big week at one of his favourite tournaments on the calendar. My second selection, next best, is Joaquin Niemann at 40-1. He has been well backed in already from 50s, but Niemann still deserves support and looks to have a great chance this weekend. The 22-year-old Chilean is a huge talent, and he claimed his first PGA Tour title at the Military Tribute at Greenbrier last summer. This is no fluke though, and he looks like a player going places with plenty of wins ahead of him in his career. Last Sunday, he tied for 5th place at RBC Heritage, shooting 19 under par and briefly leading in the closing stages. More encouragingly, he was 5th last year on his debut at River Highlands. It's a course that clearly suits him, and on his second visit, with confidence surging, I would expect Niemann to go very well this week at 40s. My third bet this week is talented Mexican Abraham Ancer at 35-1. The Mexican played brilliantly at Harbour Town and was desperately unlucky not to claim victory. He finished second, shooting 21 under par, and he hit every single green in regulation during the final round. For the week, he led the field for greens in regulation with a staggering 90.3% hit. To add to that, with his brilliant ball striking performance from last week, he also has excellent form at the Travellers Championship. He tied for 8th place last year, and he has admitted that it's a course he really enjoys tackling. I'd expect a big performance from Ancer, and he can take the momentum from last week into the Travellers. He's a strong runner at 35s. My next selection is Paul Casey at 40-1. The Englishman is an undoubted course specialist. He boasts the best scoring average of any player in this week's field, with an average of 67.1 across the recent history. His 5 starts at the tournament have yielded 4 top 5 finishes, including runner-ups in 2017 and 2015. Casey does come in here fresh, having not played for several months, But before anyone is concerned by this, let's take into account he has twice won on his first start of the year in Abu Dhabi. The experienced Englishman can certainly go well fresh, and I'd say he is an excellent price at 40 to 1. My final bet, and a slight outsider, at 70 to 1, Brian Harman. He finished third at River Highlands back in 2015. He was 6th 2 years ago and 8th last season at a course that really suits his neat and tidy game. Encouragingly, since the resumption, he has produced 2 solid efforts, including a closing round of 65, which secured a top 30 finish at the RBC Heritage. To recap my 5 bets for this week, Bubba Watson is the headline selection at 33 to 1, followed by Joaquin Niemann at 40s. Abraham Ancer merits support at 35 to 1. Englishman Paul Casey, another bet at 40 to 1. And my 5th selection, Brian Harman at 70s. Good luck with all your bets this week. I hope you enjoy the golf, and let's hope for some profits come the weekend. Thanks for joining me, and see you next week.